Hello, wonderful people. It's Friday. I come your way again with, of course, exciting discussions. So, today we're going to be talking about how to tell your VAWA story. We started talking about the VAWA type of green card a few weeks ago. And so, we'll take a look at how to qualify for this type of green card and essentially how to tell your story. Okay, of course, using the law. So with VAWA, it's a Violence Against Women Act, and it's for people who have suffered abuse, who have suffered abuse. They're being abused by their U.S. citizen spouses or by their green card holder spouses. Guys, if you joined this video, welcome. Drop me a comment. Let me know where you're watching from as we spill this tea. So let's take a look at some of the requirements. First of all, you have to be the spouse. We're going to be looking at, the marriage type of abuse, okay? So you have to be the spouse, that's the wife or the husband of a green card holder or of a U.S. citizen who is abusing you. And the abuse can come in many different forms. It doesn't have to be physical abuse only. It can be, emotional, psychological, sexual, verbal, financial, all the types of abuse. And basically you have to be living here in the United States, and you should have lived with your abuser, that's your U.S. citizen spouse, or your green card holder spouse who was abusing you. And the abuse must have been extreme. So the standard is that he should have, you the victim of the abuse, you should have been extremely battered, or your husband or your wife must have been extremely cruel to you during the marriage, okay, during the pregnancy of the marriage. And you have to be somebody, of course, who's a person of good moral character, and you should have entered the marriage in good faith. So if you just enter the marriage for a green card and this person finds out and is abusing you under the VAWA, under this statute, you will not qualify. You simply will not qualify because you should have entered the marriage in good faith. Okay, so guys, let's talk about how you're going to tell your story. Usually when we're filing these types of applications, it's all storytelling, because you have to be able to piece everything together, and you have to fall within the confines of the law. Normally, the laws are there to guide you, but they're very, very narrow. A lot of these things where you have to get approval for some benefits, they are defined very narrowly in order to keep as many people out as possible. They want to keep lots of people out. Okay, so you need to tell your story to make sure that of course, if you qualify, that you are telling the story within the confines of the law to fall within eligibility. Okay, so there's a skill and an art to it. It's both a skill and an art. So we're going to talk about how to tell this story of extreme cruelty. You need to let the person reading see that you were extremely battered, or your spouse was extremely cruel to you. Okay, welcome guys. If you join, as I say, please drop me a comment. Let me see where you're watching from. So the first thing is you need to talk about how he treated you. How often did he get angry? Was it a daily thing? And in fact, let me backtrack. Let's talk about the first thing. Like, you need to, of course, start with how you guys met. That will lay the foundation for the adjudicator to see whether it's truly a good faith marriage or you just got married for a green card. How did you guys meet? What was the background? Like, what's your what's your story like? Where did you guys meet, and how did the relationship evolve, or how did it develop? So you can start from that part, and then you move on to, when you moved in together, what happened. So essentially, as you're telling the story, what we would be helping you do, as an attorney, what I would be helping you to do is to describe basically your relationship with the abuser and the effect of his actions on you and your life and on your quality of life. Okay, so you're not just going to be talking about what he did, but the impact it had on you. You see, because it's all about painting a picture of extreme cruelty. you know, and you have to differentiate extreme cruelty from, you know, marital incompatibility, or as some of the cases state, marital disappointment, or, you know, marital friction, because problems in marriage are very, you know, are a very regular part of marriage. And so you have to be very careful with the wording of this type of application, because they need to see that he subjected you to extreme cruelty, and they are looking for specifics. They are looking for a certain type of narration or a certain type of experience that will fall within what should make you eligible for this type of green card. Because if it's just marital incompatibility, then you will not qualify under VAWA. You're not going to get a green card through abuse. Okay. So the essence of all of this is to, you know, let the victim of the abuse. Sometimes, in fact, some clients, some people don't even know that they were being abused. If you, so for example, you come here, he bring your husband brings you from a foreign country into the US. Let's say you are from Ghana, and then he brings you here. He's a citizen, and then he realizes that you don't have any family here, and he, you know, you start working. You maybe you have, or maybe you even came with some money. Let's say you came with some money, and he insists that he has to have control of all your money, you know, keeps tabs of your account. When you make purchases, you have to explain to him how much you spent, where you spent it, justify your, all those things are types of financial abuse. And for example, even with sexual abuse, depending on the culture, some people are very hesitant to say that, okay, their husbands or their wives abuse them. So, you know, you cannot just because you're married to somebody, you know, take certain liberties when it comes to, for example, sex, or when it comes to their money. So all those things, a lot of people live with abuse, but don't realize that they are being abused. Okay, so we work through all the kinks to see if you qualify, and if your husband's unreasonable treatment of you, oh my goodness, you know, qualifies for you to actually obtain a green card. Okay, I'm sorry for that. So let's move on to this. Also, if there's a sense of betrayal, it's important that we communicate that to the adjudicator or whoever is going to be reviewing your application. How did you feel? Were you deeply hurt? Was there, and what was the intention of the abuser? It usually should be that he intends to control, to dominate you with their cruelty, and to destroy your life, or to make you suffer, or to punish you emotionally. Okay, all of this should be highlighted and, you know, very skillfully communicated to the person who will be reviewing your application, because it's not just about abuse. You know, if he slapped you and you obviously did not care about it, then you would, you pretty much may not qualify for this. You should be able to communicate your pain, the effects this had on you, and as I keep saying, on the quality of your life. Did you walk on eggshells? Did you lose your human dignity? And just help the adjudicator to see through your lenses and how extremely cruel somebody who was supposed to love you treated you. Okay, so let's talk about some of the things that you will review. So this is going to be a roadmap of the kind of emotions and the feelings that you should explore in order to communicate to your attorney that, okay, this is what he made me feel. So the first thing is, how often did he get angry? Okay, when he got angry, what did he do? How did he display that anger? Some people will smash glass plates against walls in an attempt to intimidate you and to make you cower and to make you lose your self-worth and to make you very scared, because most of the time immigrants, that's the problem, they're coming from very far away places. They have their families, loved ones very far away. So all these types of acts tend to really weigh really heavily on them and really affect them. Okay. Was he easily irritated? How did he display that? Did he insult you, make fun of you? The name calling, all of those things are part of the story, the art of storytelling. We need to put in all those words. Some people are called stupid, you're ugly, you're worthless, you have a funny accent and all of that. All those things have to be very properly and skillfully communicated. How often was the abuse? Some people have certain cycles of violence and abuse. So when he sees that, okay, for example, you guys went to the store together, the grocery store, and he saw other men check you out, then the abuse starts. Okay, what was the pattern of your type of abuse? Was it daily? Was it after you denied him access to your phone? So what is the type of abuse? How often was it? And was it in public? Was it in private? All those things have to be looked at. And sometimes some of these immigrants who are here, of course, far away from everything that they've ever known, feel like they have to change who they are just to please these abusers. And this is not something that is acceptable for anybody. So those are the things that they are looking at to make sure that you actually do qualify for the abuse type of green card. Let me read a comment here and then we'll get right back into it. Eric Esnati says, thanks for the education. Eric, you're very welcome. Happy to have you guys on here. So yes, we're still talking about VAWA, and let's continue. So you also have to discuss, your culture. Did he threaten you with divorce? That's some of the tactics that these abusers resort to. They'll threaten you with divorce. So if you come from a country like mine, Ghana, where divorce is like, oh my goodness, a taboo word. Well, I think that it's changing. The trend is changing in recent times, but in the very recent past, divorce was a forbidden word. And so when the abuser knew that, okay, you come from a place where people tend to look down on divorce, then they would threaten you with divorce and then force you to kind of obey what they're doing or just accept what they're doing, because you know that the consequence of, trying to fight it or trying to stand up to the person would result in divorce, which was very major. Okay. And then, we need to discuss how this affected your life. Like, did he make threats to your family as well? Did he hide things that belong to you, that mean a lot to you? And some of the patterns of abuse that we see very frequently in filing this type of application is that they withhold not only money, but they also withhold food. Some of the abusers actually starve the immigrants. You see, you come from a very far place and you don't have documentation, you don't have a work permit. So your life is literally in the hands of the man who brought you here or the woman who brought you here. And so some of the people who bring their spouses, they enjoy the control and then sometimes go overboard. They feel like, yes, I have you in my hands. Like there's I literally, like, some of the abusers have never had this much control, and to feel that they're in control of somebody's life, sometimes they just tend to abuse it. And so they will decide not to buy food or even go to the grocery store because you don't have a car, you may not have a car, you don't even know where the grocery store is. And then they will, make you feel like a servant. You have to scrub all day long, just obey them and make you miserable. So those are like extreme cruelty cases, okay? So let's talk about some of the impact of this abuse. In telling your story, you need to discuss, and that's what I keep saying. You need to explore your deep feelings. The client needs to dig deep, like how it's not just about him smashing the plate against the wall. How did that make you feel? Did that make you feel very scared for your life? Has he threatened you with acid, like he's going to pour acid? I don't know. Just some of these people are very cruel. And so with these threats, how did they make you feel? Like you're going to lose your beauty, or he's going to kill you, or you're not going to leave the house alive, or he's even going to strangle you while you are asleep? These are very real feelings that these abuse victims go through. And a lot of the times abuse victims feel like, look, I need a green card. Like, he's brought me here, I can't leave without the green card, so I have to endure this type of abuse. But thankfully, you can get a green card if you're going through these very, very trying times with your spouse. Even sometimes, let me talk about this. I've actually had clients where the abuse was not necessarily physical abuse, but some of these people, a U.S. citizen, let me talk about a particular instance. A U.S. citizen brought her from Ghana. And when he brought her from Ghana, he more or less was already married. She didn't know, okay, and then got married to her too. So when you fall under this exception, you see, you should have married the person in good faith. However, if the bigamy was not the fault of the abused, that's the victim, then you can qualify for a green card, where the person made you feel like you were their only bona fide spouse, and then they had another spouse, and they would have a family somewhere, and sometimes they would even be living in the same house with their original spouses. This is all torture. This is pure torture. Nobody wants to go through that. And that is a type of abuse that you can also explore to get your green card. Okay, so since the abuse, how have you felt? Have you had intrusive images and thoughts about what happened? Do you see him smashing? Do you hear smashing of plates in your ears? Like, it's driving you crazy. The deep sense of betrayal that this person who promised to love you is taking you through. Have you had nightmares about it? Do you feel like your life is coming to an end? Everything is crashing down. Are you just isolated? You don't even feel like seeing people. You are tensed. You just have like a big pit in your stomach. Like, you feel like you're about to die. All these feelings are very real, and that immigrants are going through it. You don't have to go through this. You honestly don't. There's a way out, and you can even live with him for a while, and once you start filing the process, you can be separated, and that's fine. Okay, you are eligible to actually file this abuse type of green card within 2 years after divorce. So you can file it anytime from the time you get married and you start suffering the extreme cruelty of the spouse. And then some people actually develop panic attacks, and they start to take drugs, and they sometimes want to bring it out. They want to kill someone. You are driven to the point of murder, because it's all sometimes a big shock. It's really a big shock, because sometimes these abusers are the most wonderful people initially, the most loving people, and then there's just a sudden, or a gradual U-turn, and they start to do things that you never could have imagined that even your enemy would do to you. So those types of things are very, very, very harmful. And then they lead you want to even slash yourself, like, just harm yourself. Okay, so those are some of the emotions and the symptoms that we will explore. And then what's the effect of what the abuser did to you on your sleeping pattern. Are you sleeping more than usual? Are you sleeping less? Do you have difficulty getting out of bed? Did they send you to a dark place? A lot of depression? What's your eating pattern? Or your appetite? You lost appetite, lost weight? And then we'll also explore your emotional states. Like, were you worried? Are you constantly angry about what he subjected you to? Are you anxious? Are you scared? Do you feel hopeless? Do you feel just irritable? Do you feel like, oh, your life is over, you're doomed? All these are feelings that we will explore, and we will use these feelings, these intense feelings, to actually articulate your story to the adjudicator to see what the impact of the abuse has been on your life. All right, friends, I hope you guys are enjoying this discussion. Ajwalo, oh my goodness, thank you so much. Ajwa says grateful. Of course, you're welcome. Augustine Apia says excellent one. Thank you, Augustine, for joining us. I'm really happy to have you guys on here. So guys, if you are married to a U.S. citizen, or you are married to a green card holder, and they've subjected you to extreme, they've subjected you to pain. I don't like to use the legal terms like extreme cruelty and battery, because a lot of the times people don't understand whether or not they qualify. Okay, so it's important that you call me and let's talk about what your spouse has taken you through, and then I'll let you know if you qualify for this type of green card, and then we can file it. Okay, a lot of people feel like, oh, well, he didn't really abuse me, and okay, well, so he just kicked me once, and he was angry, and we try to make excuses for some of these people that we love, but it doesn't matter if he kicked you. What it matters is it's the abuse plus the impact it's had on you. So making excuses for them won't help you. Getting your green card is the first part of the healing, because you need to be able to start taking care of yourself. And the good part about the VAWA green card or the abuse green card is that you don't need the abuser does not need to know that you're filing anything. This is an independent filing. It's a self-petition. So he absolutely has to have no idea. And the U.S.A, that's the federal agency that's responsible for adjudicating and reviewing these petitions, have a duty. They are duty bound by law not to disclose this to anybody. Okay, so they have ways of verifying the status of your U.S. citizen and your green card holder, your U.S. citizen spouse or your green card holder spouse, and they can review everything and help you once we submit your very well documented and completed application. So guys, call me on 802-7800-564 and I'll be happy to assist you if you're going through this type of issue with your spouse. Nana also answer Hubert. Thank you so much for joining. He says you are great. Oh my goodness, I'm humbled at your service, guys. I just I know what it feels like. I've been through it. I'm an immigrant myself, guys. I've shared my story a few times with you. I came from a very far away land. I left everything I knew and came here. So immigration, anxiety, and going through a lot of trouble when you are in a foreign land, it can get really, really, really stressful and disturbing. So we're here for you to advocate for you. I'm here for you to advocate for you, to help you make sure that you get what you deserve and nobody, shortchanges you or harms you. Oh my goodness. Manuel Quay says, keep up the good work. Happy birthday to this very special client of mine. I think it was your birthday today, right? I hope I didn't miss it. I think so. Well, so guys, just call me on 802-7800-564 and I'll be very happy to assist you. We're here. I represent clients all around the US. We're on the grind. We're advocating for people, fighting for people, and giving you what you deserve. That's the role of an advocate and an attorney. Sometimes you guys, lay people, ordinary people, are not able to articulate what their rights are, what their stories are. I'm your storyteller, I'm your cheerleader, I'm your lawyer. I can help you make sure that you actually get what you deserve. So please call me and then I'll be happy to assist you. All right, guys, so let me leave you. Be safe, spread some love, and take care. Of course, my tea is right here. Have a wonderful rest of the day and have a blessed weekend. Take care. Bye.